Well, it's good to be back. Welcome to Fat Dog.
Joe, hold on. This is my podcast.
But I got to talk so much on the last episode, I thought it was my podcast now.
Look, I know we lead parallel lives and all, but for today, this is my podcast.
Okay, but I got a
If I
solid
may.
line. Can I still use it?
Okay, do it.
Okay, I'll go all Stephen Colbert on this. Hello and welcome to Fat Dog, the only comedy podcast that... Oh, shit. The only comedy podcast attending night school to become a Wikipediatrician.
I love it. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh, all right. If only it had like slide whistle sounds.
Oh, yeah.
Although Red Letter Media does that a lot, so I don't know if that should be a thing. But you know what? Sounds are sounds, right? So
Red Letter Media.
they do.
Is that somebody we know?
It's not somebody we know. Red Letter Media does movie reviews.
Oh.
Right, that's what it is. They have a very sort of irreverent, humorous way of going about it.
Nice.
Everybody does movie reviews. I mean, like the movie review YouTube video is like super overdone.
Yeah.
They've been at it for years, you know. But they
OGs.
have their OGs and they have their own voice about it, and it's great.
That's cool.
I won't tell you much more about it. If you want to check them out, check them out. Their shtick is fantastic. Red Letter Media. Half in the bag, as they say. But their shtick is genuine. It's
Cool,
a lot of fun.
cool.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Oh, I mean, if they're slide whistles, I mean.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They show up, man. They both up and down.
Oh, good, because, I mean, if half a slide whistle is just get out of here.
No, it's just
Well,
it. I mean,
yeah.
this is there's no tension and release.
Yeah,
You need
exactly.
So as you were saying, welcome everybody
To Fat Dog.
to Hometown Hustle, episode 10. Joel 2.
Oh, episode 10, Joel 2. I get it. Cool.
Joel the second.
I'm with
episode number 10. Joel part 2. The return.
Thought I was going to have to battle an evil twin or something. Yeah,
Exactly.
really nervous.
We found your clone. Welcome.
To deathmatch.
That's right. This is a new format. Just
Darren, you got any smoke?
That's right. Oh my gosh. So, welcome everybody. My name is Arjun, producer, recordist, mix engineer coming at you from Grande Prairie, Alberta, my hometown. We're recording at Better Than Fred's, an excellent venue, wonderful bar, and purveyor of fine barbecue. This is episode 10 of a series of unedited conversations that I'm calling the Hometown Hustle. This deals with my artistic journey through the arts and music scene, the peace country, and all the people who helped me get where I am today. Today is episode 10, part 2. I'm sorry, like, we went through this already. Joel, welcome back.
Hey, it's okay. We're having irreverent fun.
It's exactly. You know, I'm just trying to keep it like extra irreverent,
Barnum.
legit.
Is it Barnum and Bailey?
Barnum and Bailey.
Fun for children of all
Yeah,
ages?
exactly. That's them.
I have really
Barnum
been
and
thinking a
Bailey.
lot about that phrase lately. Children of all ages.
It's a good one.
It's one of those things like you hear it all the time.
Yep.
It's like the phrase "ready or not, here I come."
Right.
It's like, because I don't know how many times as a child I got so mad at my sisters because they would yell, "I'm not ready," after I had just said, "Ready or not, here I come."
Exactly.
And like I remember one time as just an indignant like 8-year-old just walking up to my sisters and being like, "The phrase is ready or not, here I come.
Exactly.
This is how we will be conducting ourselves."
Oh, absolutely. Well, your readiness, or my coming at you is not predicated upon your readiness.
Exactly.
So,
So like when I think kids of all ages, it's
Yeah.
like when I really think about it, it's just like there's such a thing in this world as man children,
Right.
or it's weird how gendered that term is because I know female man children, but
Totally.
it's also weird how they like present themselves differently.
yeah.
But the phrase "kids of all ages" really makes me think of people like the 4 names I keep dropping: me, you, Bevan, Al.
Yeah.
The kids of all ages, and it's like, what makes us kids of all ages? Well, we're adults in the fact that we handle ourselves, but we've also chosen to live our lives slightly by impulse.
Absolutely.
And that's kids. Okay, so there's insects that live by impulse. They get a little electron that says eat.
Yep.
one that says reproduce, and then they die 2 days later.
Yep.
And then like there's kids who are one step above that, have a little bit of processing power coupled in with that. But like it was like we were saying on the last episode, remembering what it's like to be a kid, and that like having a kid is a good tether back to that mindset. And then like when I just said like, which means I'm losing my train of thought.
No worries.
No, what I'm getting at is there's this inherent risk in our lives that we don't even calculate.
Yeah. Because
there's no other way for us to live.
Exactly.
And that's how kids live.
Totally.
They do it this way because they don't. What other way is there for them?
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like say you're a kid and you lose a toy, and you'll cry harder than anything. I say you love that toy. You'll cry harder than somebody dying because you don't know the pain of somebody dying.
Totally.
And it's not until you know that the scale slides.
Yeah.
And then you get that experience of like, oh, so now the absolute rock bottom missing G.I. Joe is now 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
And it's with people like us, it's like we live with this sliding scale, but we're immune to like 1 through 3.
Totally.
Where it's just like we live at a 3 in the risk, just because it takes a month longer to get paid for a project.
Absolutely.
Or anything like that. You need a tooth pulled, and you don't have your own health care. It's just like there's these little things of risk that like right now I've just chosen to like they're the pill I've swallowed because that's just the way it's going to have to be. I've realized that my personality type I can work with, I cannot work for.
Got it. Yep.
And so it's just gotten to the stage where it's just like you numb yourself to that risk and you jump in with both feet. And that's not to say, like, I do have to acknowledge the fact that I am able to make this move and start looking for this creative work because I live with my mom. Like, let's not get it twisted.
Totally.
I would not have this freedom to do this had I not gotten divorced, had I not had my life fall apart.
Yep.
And so I find myself thinking a lot about where you need to be by a certain time.
Yep.
And it's just like, okay, so at 30, so on the surface, you don't want to live with your parents. But the thing is, as much as we may hate the word, I know I do, millennials is what we are. And the story of the millennial is broke.
Right.
A lot of people in our age group living with their parents right now. But sure, I'm living with my parents. I'm also starting a small business.
Right.
Which is, if we're talking about the cosmic timeline that people constantly reference, being 30 and starting a business, it falls onto that chart.
Totally.
It works.
Yep.
What I'm getting at is that it's tapping into the empathy of a kid can really take your life farther than you'd ever think it would.
Yeah.
But it's very important to temper that so you don't become that man-child.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, and it's hard because like I've known people that collect things. I'm never going to begrudge anybody's collection of things they love. But there's a difference of walking into somebody's house who's an adult and seeing toys everywhere versus seeing a collection.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's stupid little things that come down to like presentation.
Yeah.
It's like, turns out you're an adult when you spend $14 on a shelf. That's it. Like, that's the big secret to life.
Yeah.
It's like, you're an adult when you sign a lease. You do
Absolutely.
that at 17 if you want.
Yep.
It's like, because there's so many things in this world that force us to grow up so fast, and I'm a victim of this. Just forced maturity, that being able to constantly go back and tap into the empathy of a kid and eat that sense of risk, it's helped me so much.
Yeah.
I guess that's my final point.
Yeah.
It's
That makes sense.
remembering what it's like to know nothing.
Yeah.
Because the best lyric I ever wrote in my singer-songwriter career was, I don't even remember it, so it must not have been that good. It was something along of the lines of when I was 16 and I knew it all.
Right.
Because I keep going back and seeing like, at 16 I thought I was the smartest guy and I had it figured out and I knew everything that everybody else did. And right now, in this moment, I am fighting that. It's just like, okay, this is what I want to do. Motion design, animation, video, filmmaking, work on the writing, get that to a professional level. And it's just like, I have to constantly check myself that I don't get elitist about anything.
Sure.
Like, because I could have easily walked in here and then like had opinions about what Darren was doing. But I chose to shut up and ask him about his lights instead.
Totally.
Like, because I've shot a video podcast. I have ways I would do it.
Right.
But actually, Dave Wright, longtime GP kingpin to me. Dave Wright taught me so much in my mind when it comes to people who have provided value in my life through nothing other than words. Dave Wright is king. Because this guy came in along McQuaid one time looking for guitar strings, whistled through his teeth when he talked, like the gopher from Winnie the Pooh. Me and Eric back at the time, we had to stifle our laughter, right?
Sure.
We're 19-year-old jerks.
Yeah.
So we have to stifle our laughter, but this guy is excited about playing guitar. He's camoed up.
Yep.
As people in Grande Prairie are wont to do.
That's what it is, yeah.
So he comes in just looking for guitars, just wants to talk guitars, buys his strings, walks on out, and then, being 19-year-old jerks, what's the first thing we do? Mock him. Dave turns around instantly, and in that moment, he says, you guys may, because he said some goofy things about like frets or strings or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like you, in that skill set, just sounds stupid to you. But to anybody else or those learning, it's a valid question. Yep. So, like, Dave literally smacked us verbally and was like, I bet that guy could teach you more than you could ever retain about, say, skinning a moose.
Right.
And he's like, everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
Just because somebody doesn't know what you know doesn't mean they're stupid.
Absolutely.
And also, the best of us out there don't flex on their knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're out there flexing on your knowledge, you're insecure and you got a point to prove.
That's exactly right. I mean, so many people talk to hear their own voice, right? They talk to talk. But I think you fall into this category. But some of us, some people, I preemptively included myself in this category.
Good.
I'm pretty modest. I don't know if you know this. But some people,
The most modest.
Thank you. Some people talk to listen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, with these conversations, one thing that I've absolutely loved is to talk to people who I know fairly well often. People who I know very well, who I often speak to at great length, but just to kind of hit upon a few points that I have or just questions that I have and just let them go. And that's a whole other kind of conversation than me talking, like me and Al, for example, talking about art or guitars or tone or something like that. Left to their own devices, people kind of follow their own train of thought.
Yeah.
And it's totally different than a conversation where, you ask them a question because you want to get to this point in the conversation.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other thing. And getting back to your point about Dave in this particular situation, one thing that's come up a couple of times is just the value, and I would call it, mentorship, continued mentorship that the old GP music, and I'm not saying Long and McQuaid, but I mean for us, like that foundational time was GP music. Right.
The only reason I have a fundamental reference to it as Long and McQuaid is because I was the first Long and McQuaid employee.
Ah, okay.
I got hired before they changed the sign.
Okay.
And so it's like, I got a job at GP Music. And everybody at GP Music's like, you got a job at Long and McQuaid. we're the GP music guys.
Exactly.
And like there was this weird little split. It was like, oh, he's the Long McQuade guy.
That's right.
And
of
it's
course.
just like, oh,
Come
guys,
on,
let me
guys.
hang.
I'm one of you.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
One of the things that comes up is, again, the mentorship, as I would describe it, from people like Dave, Gary, Mike Monroe,
Those three guys alone.
Oh, absolutely. Just a wealth of information, a wealth of moments like what you just described, where it's not like positive reinforcement or, just telling you what you want to hear, but telling you what you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
Or, telling you things that just on a human level, you're going to have an emotional reaction to, like, hey, whoa, you're telling me off? Oh, hey, or something like that. But that's the beauty of those kinds of relationships. And I think, like, it speaks to their character, just as people, just taking a moment to be like, this is work stuff, but it's also human stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
that's not cool.
That's the
or think
mark
of it this
of
way.
a good boss.
Absolutely.
And like I have only had one other employer ever come close to treating me the way Dave did. And like, not to say like Mike didn't give a ton of value to my life.
Yeah.
Like I learned a lot from Mike, but there was something about, I can't call it anything other than passive mentoring from Dave.
Yeah.
Because he, I guess, a born and bred father.
Yeah.
That's the
Got
big
it.
thing. Because you see him with his girls, and it's just like, ugh. But anyways, no, with Dave, it was always, I speak best through examples. There was
Sure.
another time after work, we closed down. I think it was, I'm splitting hairs on a guitar that came in.
Yep.
I want to say it was that the Canadian-made Les Pauls they put out, that the one Eric Holtz bought.
Oh, what were those?
They were super
Yeah, I
limited
know
edition.
what you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Eric managed to scoop one somehow. I think
Awesome.
I think Mike put in a good word at
Right.
Brookville for him.
Okay.
But something.
Yep.
All I know is that Eric Holtz is one of the only people that any of us will ever know that owns one of these
Yep,
guitars.
yep.
Came with maple syrup, for God's sake. But
Amazing.
I had to play said guitar when it came in that night. So lights are off, doors are locked, everybody's, end of the day plunking on the stuff that caught your eye through the day. And I am playing No One Knows by Queens of the Stone Age. And specifically the main riff, the be-da-doo-dum-dee, that was the bass part. Yeah,
I know.
anyways.
Yeah.
I was playing it, and just the way I was playing it, I had this funny, weird injury where I didn't break my hand, but I fractured this bone in
okay.
grade 12.
Got it.
So even now, it moves funny.
Got it.
And so when I play that riff specifically,
Yes.
it's
Yep.
all about the pinky movement to
Yep.
do the be-da-doo.
Yep.
And so I'd hit the chord, and then every time the be-da-doo would sound funny because I was trying to finger it like this.
Yeah.
And I just don't have that motion. And so Dave came over, being the career musician he's been, sized up the riff by ear, took the guitar from me, and he said, "What if you play it like this?" Showed me a different fingering that made me feel stupid. Right. And it was one of those things where he didn't come to make me feel stupid.
Yep.
My ego was in the way
Right.
of advice.
That's just it.
And Gary is really good for this too. Mike will protect your feelings a little bit more,
Yeah.
but Gary and Dave are so good at, like, especially Gary, no dressing. Literally, you get meat. I don't even want to say meat
Absolutely.
and potatoes
Just
with
the
these
protein.
guys,
That's
because
it.
it's
Bam.
just boom. It's the meat. It's what you need to get through life.
Yeah.
Like, Gary's great because he'll tease you with the knowledge. Why aren't you freaking doing it this way?
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Yep.
no, it was just, Dave would come at me in a way that instantly broke down my walls, made me mad at him. The smarter of us out there push that out of the way and take that advice.
Yes.
You'll get nowhere in life, and you'll just be an angry, bitter person if you don't learn to put that ego aside. But there's so many times where I'm dealing with this thing right now where I'm kind of seeing this person who's just has an eye for design. And so like I'll be like mocking up my business cards or something like that, and I'll show it to them, and they sit there for a second, mull it over, and then they'll give me their opinion, and then like, can I just see it like this? Because like we're looking at Illustrator right there, I can do whatever they want me to, and so it's just like and like even. Of course, I'm focusing on videography, but like I take pictures too, right?
Yeah.
I am not a very good photographer.
Got it.
Mainly doing it to learn like my color correction.
Sure.
That's beside the point. While getting like, hey, do you think this looks good? Like I took some pictures of some cats.
Yep.
Just playing with my like just subtle corrections and that. Once again, silence, takes it in, thinks about what they're gonna say. Here's my opinion. Can we look at it like this? For some reason, it's so hard for me to hear because right now I'm in this. No, I'm living in a world of knowledge. Like I know more than everybody about video and design and animator. I am Walt Disney.
Right.
I am Martin Scorsese.
Totally.
Like I can do this. Back off.
Yep.
But the thing is, they are so much better than me at it inherently. They've never had training. Like. I showed them how to use Lightroom for the first time, and they did better work than me.
Right.
Which just, it's the eye. It's not your equipment.
The eye, 100%, man.
Yep. One of the best things I ever heard is no matter how much money you put into your gear, it's worthless.
Yeah.
Never forget that your stuff doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, absolutely. And that moment was just so humbling for me to be handed back my computer with my software that I have spent hours learning, and just been like, okay, so it's a touchscreen laptop. These are the panels you want to use. If you just drag your finger around, you will see what they do. Just play around, see what you want to do. Oh, that's better than any edit I've ever done. And I've been working hard at this for 3 weeks. Yeah. And so right then and there, I was like, oh shit. I thought I was doing well, but I'm in asshole territory. I'm a little bit of a jerk, shutting myself off to knowledge because I have deemed this person unknowledgeable about the subject.
Right.
But the thing is, they had skills in something they've never done.
Right.
Purely because they have a background in design.
Yes.
They have the eye.
They have the eye.
And so, like, I'm really focusing on just shutting up. Just listen.
Definitely.
Yeah. It's funny, I talk for three straight hours and then say, I'm really trying to shut up.
That's right. I'm mainly working on listening. I don't know if you know this, but it's my...
Like,
I understand, man.
Like, I hate to cut you off, but I am the best listener.
Exactly. People always tell me, I'm a great listener.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure you think so. Yeah, of course. Well, part of that whole situation is that, I don't know if... I'm sure people who do things go through this. For me, just speaking as a creative person, a creative type, whatever, there are times in your creative cycle, I guess, when you're on input and when you're on output. And it's hard to do the other when you're in one. Oh, yeah. It's like
that. You nailed it with that, actually. Like that input and output modes. Right? Holy crap, man.
It's like you're taking stuff in and you're not able to spit it right back out because you're still processing it. And that's the time when somebody shows up, and just crushes what you're trying to do. And you're just like, like, what is that? Get out of here. Go.
Exactly. About it. Who are you?
That's right. You don't know anything. It's hard to do that, and it's just part of our process, I guess. And I think being a creative person, you're ready to go to output as soon as possible. And so it's frustrating to just take a moment. And I think, again, that can only be a good thing. Just realizing that, acknowledging it, naming it, and be like, okay, just, as you said, just hold on, go ahead, okay.
A question I have for you.
Yep.
And literally, there's very few people I can ask this to. Yep. Maybe you and Al are coming up as the only people. You're so much like me. You're 5 years older than me, which means you could have, let's call it, you've had a 5-year head start on your
Yeah.
creative life.
Yeah.
So while you were coming up, because I know when I was in, like Bevan can attest to this, any little idea I had would be put out. So if you want to count it, I recorded and put out like 3 albums in
Right.
my high school life.
Ah, okay.
And so, like, regardless of anything, like we talked about this before, like slinging a computer mic over your amp and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And just like I had to put stuff out.
Yep.
My question for you is, as you've grown older, because me personally, and like it speaks to itself right there when I'm hanging on to literally 3 finished vlogs.
Right.
Have you? Sorry, that was a weird.
It's all good.
cadence. Have you, as a creative, gotten better at tempering? This will aid my creative vision for myself online, and I just got to put stuff out. Have you gotten better at that? Or are you just more meticulous in your projects, so it does take longer to put out?
That's a really good question, and I think it's very timely because when I was in my last sort of prolific state, which I would say was like, the end of Calculating Collapse, like that time, the last band thing that I was in, I was very meticulous about putting things out.
Yeah.
Part of that was because I'd been in bands before, and so it was one of those things where now I'm in a band, but it's not like I'm starting at here. I've been songwriting this much for these years, so maybe my songwriting is leveled up to here. So now instead of writing 10 songs and the last 2 are going to be any good, it's like I'm writing 25 songs and the last 1, might be the culmination of the idea that started in the previous ones. So I was super meticulous there. Now I part of what's up with now for me is again tied back to the post sort of separation divorce kind of time where I realized that even though I was in music school, right? I went to Berkeley, then I worked in Boston, then I went to Berkeley, Valencia, and then worked there.
Out in Spain.
Just humble brag. Which, real quick, I don't know if anyone has seen the trailers for Westworld Season 3.
Oh, I haven't yet.
It's all, like, a lot of the exterior shots are filmed right there.
Really?
Yeah. So, like, everyone who's there now, it's like, they'll walk out their door, that's the view. And it's funny for me seeing that in Westworld because it pulls me out of
that's
out
the
of that.
worst.
I can't suspend disbelief. I'm just like, I walk right there. That's where we'd go to do the thing. Those are the hallways where we, it's so funny.
I watched a documentary shot in Edmonton one time while I was living in Edmonton. I have no idea what that documentary was about, but I do know that 124th to Stony Plain was in it pretty extensively.
Exactly.
And, like, the entire time, like, my then wife and I just dissected, like, oh, that's this place. Oh, did you know they have great chicken wings?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just like you look at everything in the background, like, oh, look, it's that. If these guys get out of the way, there's the thing, we like that.
You become insufferable to watch these things with.
100%. I'm, so I'll say that real quick because it just happened today.
Yeah.
So everything for me right now is tied into this post separation divorce time where I realized that I hadn't been putting anything out. I was going to say anything of my own or whatever, but anything really. I had these grand plans of making YouTube videos. I say YouTube videos, but it was just getting into the visual art end of things in a certain way. I was just compelled to do it, right?
On that note, with you stopping yourself after saying YouTube videos, it is very weird how cheap the phrase YouTube makes things feel to me.
Right.
Because, like, I want to do vlogs and stuff, but, like, when it's, like, coming and asking people or talking to people, it's just like, oh, what are you shooting? It's like, oh, stuff for my vlog. Oh, cool. Where can I watch it? YouTube. That's an okay sentence.
Yep.
But for some reason, like, okay, let's play in a dream world where my vlog takes off.
Yep.
The first time anybody says, are you a YouTuber? To me, I might die on the inside. I might fucking die on the inside.
Yeah.
Or adding an
Yep.
It's like, I
gotcha.
prefer to do what you've done with recordist.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like we had that whole John Wayne talk with the shootist.
The shootist.
And so, like, you're not a recorder. We had that talk. It's just that is very stupid.
Yeah.
And so YouTuber, but then again, it's like YouTubeist.
Right.
Eh.
You're a filmmaker.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. YouTube is a platform.
Exactly.
But for some reason, it's so easy just to say YouTube video.
Sure.
But everybody has a different idea of what a YouTube video is in their head. Most time, I watch insanely high production quality YouTube videos, like TV quality production. They're YouTube videos, but for some reason, when somebody says YouTube video, I think of cell phone videos.
Oh, of course. You
It's
think
so
of the
weird.
classic, like, ka-chow, it's your boy, you know, blah, 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 you know, like,
The
doing
number,
whole thing.
I think the phrase that needs to be bronzed on, like below the Hollywood sign on those hills, it needs 3D letters bronze, 500 kgs each. It needs to say, hey guys, because everybody on the internet and their mother, it's become a giant pet peeve for me. And I've become drawn to people on YouTube who don't say it. That is literally the only thing I need.
Yeah.
But if your video starts with, hey guys, for some reason, I just hate it.
Yeah.
Everybody. I could make a compilation right now with 400 voices going, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys,
Absolutely.
hey guys,
Yep.
hey guys, hey,
Yep.
hey guys. It's just like, it's just one of those little neurotic things that's just like, okay, so I'm not doing that. And it's just one of those things, like, how do you start your video?
100%. A big part of that is the sameness, right? Like,
The sameness, yeah.
the internet has been like a, I don't know what you want to call it, the great equalizer for content getting out there. But anytime that happens, what do you get? You get, 12,000% more content than you could ever like consume, take in, even vet. You
yeah.
you can go to like a record store, like a YouTube store, like browse through stuff and be like,
Yeah.
and then like 12 minutes later find a thing that really interests you that you can then vet and say, okay, this I like. But no, you can only hit play and you're bombarded with a bunch of, hey guys, like, I hope you're doing great today. Like, I don't hope that I'm doing great today. I don't hope that you're doing great today. Come at me, like.
And that's the thing is, like, with all these like personalities and stuff, is like, I wish people it's this weird thing. Like, I'm honestly thinking about starting a series called Let's Think Too Much, because that's what I do with my time.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think too much about is I feel like most, let's call them influencers, most influencers that, like, let's say we open up our Instagrams right now, go through our stories, we'll get 15 hey guys. I feel like it's this insecurity about their audience, and it's a completely understandable thing, because these days you can literally grow an audience by falling ass backwards into something.
Totally.
And so it's this constant, like, you're supposed to engage with your audience. You're supposed to you're supposed to create something to draw you in.
Yep.
And for most people, the very easiest thing is to talk to those people.
Totally.
And I never begrudge anybody for trying.
Of course.
But there are some of us do it way better than others.
Yep.
And I've realized just owning a camera and carrying it with me constantly. There's two types of people in this world. People like me who will mug to it as soon as it points at them.
Yeah.
And then there are the people.
Yep.
And it's like a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
Like, most people are people.
Yep.
But we live our lives doing this.
Oh my gosh, right?
And so it's like, where's this disconnect? Is it because it's shaped like a camera?
Right.
But then again, people do dodge. They don't so much dodge this. You do this, though?
Yep.
It's
Absolutely.
so weird, right?
Yep.
I don't know why I started talking about that, but yeah, it's just
Makes sense.
one of the influencer insecurity thing. I feel like it's one of those things that, whether or not the content is what I like or not, past that first 2-second hey guys, that's what people are clicking your video for.
Yes.
That's what people are going to your Instagram for. That's why people are, I don't watch Instagram stories. Every single person I follow puts Instagram stories up. I'll check out Bevan's every once in a while. But I don't use that feature But if you do use that feature, it's because you've explicitly wanted to see what this person's doing.
Exactly.
So I find it very weird that everybody's out there kind of holding on to their audience like this.
Yep.
And it's just like, I understand it. It's the internet. Things come and go like that.
Yep.
And a lot of people have built their livelihoods
Yep.
on this, like we were talking about, that risk aversion level that we just don't feel, right?
Yep.
These people, let's say in that fantasy world, my vlog takes off and I'm getting enough views per video, I can have an income through AdSense.
Exactly.
I've put all my eggs in a basket that is highly likely to spontaneously combust.
Totally.
And so I understand the, hey guys, I get it. But like, when they dig up our civilization in 3,000 years, like, I constantly think about things like that. Like, we look back in time and see these records. Like, why did everybody do this?
Of course.
Not everybody did this. This is what we have.
Exactly.
This is what we have to tell. So I'm terrified that something will happen and we'll be left with "Hey guys" as our legacy.
Absolutely. It completely makes sense, man.
That's what kind of drew. To wrap it up in a very relevant point, that's what drives everything I do. Because I love media. I love watching things. And I especially love watching things that come from, like, my hometown. Yeah. But because I'm entering the fray of hometown, I'd be completely lying if I said I don't watch, like, name local production company here, their videos, wondering what I can do better.
Totally.
And so it's just, on top of that, I'm also enjoying this stuff, right? But there's just this, goes back to the eye we were talking about earlier. There's just this eye that's always hunting. And when it comes across the same thing 400 billion times per day, it becomes just repulsive to me. And like, to the point where, like, actually, before you're going to go, you'll see, this is as low as I'll get. Before we go for my vlog, I'm going to ask you to participate with what's in your pockets.
Totally.
Because something blowing up on YouTube right now is everyday carry videos.
Okay.
Very weird. Just people walking up to people, hey, what's in your pockets?
Yeah.
They're oddly fascinating. They're benign enough to go everywhere.
Yep.
And like, when you think about this stuff, it's just like, it's kind of what you want your content to be.
Yeah.
And so in thinking too much about some things, my mind just explodes and runs. As you can tell, because I've lost my own point. Oh, God. But it's all about being different for me. Totally. And it must come from being a musician, or maybe specifically a guitar player. You know, when you're hearing a great solo and that lick that's just maybe repeated twice really quick catches you more than anything other than the solo, it's purely because they played it twice. So you're going to remember that solo because of that lick. And so if everybody starts playing that lick, it's like, what did Ian Rossiter post the other day? The dad in the guitar store lick.
Oh,
it's just the classic blues band. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, so it's just like, I don't want to play that instrument. I don't want to play those licks.
Yeah. Which makes sense. And I mean, if we continue with the music analogy for what you were just describing, it's like, you know, everyone gets a Telecaster and a Fender Tweed or something like that. And what you hope is, and I feel like with yourself, hearing you speak, and some of the other folks that I've had on, you know, I feel like the personality and the individual voice will come through. Like, you know, if you hear David Gilmour play a Strat through, you know, like a Champ or something like that, it'll sound like David Gilmour. If you hear, you know, insert name of person here playing your gear. If Eddie Van Halen like picks up my guitar and starts tapping, it'll sound like Eddie Van Halen.
I want somebody to make maybe I'll be the guy to make this documentary, to go to famous guitar players with a harmony guitar.
Right.
Hey, David Gilmour, play this. Oh crap, it's David Gilmour.
Sounds like Dave.
And exactly, because tone is not in your instruments, it's in your fingers.
Absolutely. And going back to the hey you guys, you know, it's like David Gilmour saying hey guys, is going to be very different than 8,000 other people saying, hey, guy,
Yeah.
because he does something that is just uniquely him.
Like Will Smith. Will Smith is vlogging. Hey, guys.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Will
okay.
Smith broke YouTube because he's like, I'm starting a vlog. 5 million subscribers. And it's just like, there's people that's been like working it. But hey,
It's Will Smith.
it's the Fresh Prince. I ain't gonna begrudge anything he does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Was born in West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Now, I hear it was a playground where you spend most of your days. What would you do?
Maxing. Relaxing mainly. I feel like the age. Like how I'm going to keep it going.
I can't.
Shooting some people after the school. Oh my God. It wasn't always fun and games. I mean, sometimes people would show up and they're up to no good. I mean, it's trouble, man.
In your neighborhood.
Yeah. In my neighborhood. What are you going to do though, right? So good. Oh my gosh.
That was awesome.
Will Smith saying, hey guys.
Yeah.
So I totally understand.
Exactly.
You're going to say, hey guys, in a certain way. Or because you're cognizant of this, because your individual voice leads you down a different path. You're not going to say, hey guys.
Yeah.
I kid around about the ka-chow, it's your, but like.
I literally, without no facetiousness and totally serious, I say with your boy a
With
lot.
your boy, absolutely.
And it sucks. I'm disappointed in myself.
You know what? It comes from that place, though,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's like, hey guys, ka-chow, it's your boy. It's like that's what people do.
Ka-chow with your boy, this new Nixon watch.
Right? Like how many people can go like ka-chow and start a video like that? Like, what's happening? Are you like you've surprised me? Like are you gonna accost me? Like what is going on with that interaction exactly?
It's like when people when you listen to a podcast and they try to keep the guest a secret until after the intro, or like they make sure the guest doesn't speak or anything. Like you haven't clicked the title of the episode.
Of course, absolutely,
with their name in it.
Yeah,
it's just like, can we all just realize that we can see like 2019 is the sausage factory with the plexiglass wall.
Absolutely. That's a great way of putting it. 100%.
Yeah.
All the sausages, you're just like, well,
Well, that's the thing.
Cool, all right.
Yeah, it's bright enough in the room. You can just walk by and not notice it. But
absolutely.
Like,
They're doing, What? Oh my gosh.
What are those
That's
round
incredible.
things?
What's that tube? Incredible. Wow, that was great. That was a really good train of conversation.
Yeah.
Damn. There's a lot of stuff.
Literally a 50-minute freight train that was.
That was great, man. Freight trains are awesome. I mean, we covered, we kind of ran quite the gamut, which was good.
Yeah.
I feel like there was part of an unanswered question, if I may speak about myself again.
Oh, absolutely. It's your show.
I
thought that's why people
please.
made podcasts. Is like, I'm going to talk to these people, but really, it's about me, and I'm going to talk about myself.
It's so funny. Like for me, with all this, I really just love to hear people's take on things.
Yeah.
That's what you'd asked about the meticulousness, the pickiness.
Oh yeah.
So
that was like an hour ago.
yeah, dude. It's all good, man. So wrapping back around to that, I was meticulous. Then I realized that I hadn't put anything out in a long time.
Yeah.
The difference with what I put out now is I think being an artist, being a musician, doing all the things that you do in 2019, it's at a different level than you did in 2011.
Yeah.
And so there's like, I mean, maybe it's not like this for everyone, but for me, definitely, there's like an internal vetting process going on 24/7.
Yeah.
Like, I played a bunch of guitar this afternoon. I was digging the tone, and I'm thinking about some riffs that I played. And so we're chatting, but somewhere in the back of my mind, later, I'll suddenly think, okay, that third chunk of what I played is the best thing, and I should hang on to that and get rid of the rest. And so that's going on all the time. So when I then like sort of physically manifest a thing, it's been vetted a whole bunch. Then furthermore, when I put something, when I take that idea further, again, it's a vetting process. So I think that happens automatically. But right now, given, the podcast and all this kind of stuff, everything that I've put up on YouTube, I'm trying really hard to put myself out there, which is a thing that I used to do a ton when I was coming up in bands, because you suck for a while, and you need to learn everything. Like you can play an instrument, but that's not the same as performing. That's not the same as developing stagecraft.
I learned that so fast and so hard,
It's not the
and
same
it
as
is
playing with
why I
people.
don't pursue bands these days.
Okay, gotcha.
I learned that very early on, that
Right.
there are things about musicianship that I don't want.
Got it.
The live performing aspect.
Okay.
If I could do it every now and then, I'd love that.
Yep.
But I don't live for that stress anymore.
Got it.
I'm
Understandable. Yeah.
I've come into my own. I feel like I could do public speaking pretty good if I had like a topic.
Sure.
But I did one solo gig, just me and a guitar.
Okay.
And then I played in the funk band for a while. So it was like the one solo gig I did was like, oh, this life ain't for me.
Got it.
Because it was like, if I wanted to pursue it, that one experience would be every night.
Yep.
Because I played to a bar not listening to me. I sang my heart out,
Yes.
original songs, which not a lot of people do in Grande Prairie.
That's right.
And especially back then, the only people hitting the stage with no cover material was Al.
Yeah.
And so it's, unless they were in a band.
Yeah. I hear you. Yep.
But like singer-songwriters, like right now, if let's say it was Thursday or Friday night, we dropped the podcast right now, drove down to the Den, listened to their music.
Yes.
Every single one of those singer-songwriters is playing cover songs.
Yeah. You bet.
I'm like, I get it. It's the bar thing. It's how you build that
Absolutely.
time on stage.
Yep.
I could not do that. There's something that it fought against in me that like, I can't be the guy known to sing a really good version of this song.
Of course.
I just
Absolutely.
can't. And when I read Frank Zappa's book,
Dude.
he talks about the moment he pretty much had to fire his whole band because they weren't about to play originals.
Right.
They would make no money.
Yep.
But he consciously said, I'm going to take this hit in my income to do what feels right.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a thing. It is, I guess, the path less traveled, especially when you're coming up. Just like, not that you were coming up at that, you know what I mean? But when a person is coming up, that's not what you do. You play a bunch of covers. You get the experience. You get the paycheck. That's the other thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking to make money right away, I mean, you got to play covers. You can be in a wedding band. You can play bars, all that kind of stuff. Oh my gosh. Trying to loop back to what I was thinking about real quick.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, not at all. All of this adds to the rich tapestry of what we're speaking about. Putting things out, right? So putting myself out there on video, which I'm not a person who takes naturally to video, in the sense that I'm 36. I was born elsewhere, moved, and then ended up like with the internet as a thing when I moved to Canada. And so I remember like technology not being as it is now. Like I remember the before time, if we can put it that way. And so just putting myself on video and just putting some kind of stuff like this out there is still kind of strange to me.
Yeah.
Part of that, again, I realized was because coming out of the relationship that I came out of and like all the stuff that you kind of get hung up in led to, again, just not putting out any music or anything like that. So now I'm just like, I made a conscious decision February of this year to do the opposite.
Nice.
Every single little thread of music that I have sitting around that needs to be finished, I'm going to finish.
Cool.
Any video ideas I've had, I'm just going to do it. And so the discussion about YouTubers, being a YouTuber, somebody asked me that, like, cool. Are you looking to be a YouTuber? And, which is, the answer was no. However, thinking about it in real time, every single thing that I'm doing seems like I'm trying to be a YouTuber.
I'm in the exact same position right now.
However, perhaps you, are more just compelled to create and put that out there.
Yeah.
Because you know that when you create and you put that out there, you put yourself out there and you move on to the next thing, it's just a process. It's just a leveling up process in real time.
Just watching the game tapes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Watching the game tapes, you're playing, you're on the court every night, right?
Yeah.
You watch the game tapes during the day, hit the court, rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
And every single day you're improving. That's what this is all about. And so I think I used to be meticulous, and the answer to that question is I'm trying to be less so.
Fair enough.
But part of that comes from not just deciding to put stuff out willy-nilly,
Yeah.
but more like we've all kind of put in our 10,000 hours, right?
Yeah.
And so now the stuff that we put out, it's going to be different.
I couldn't have asked for a better answer to that question, because once again, you've given voice to my own thoughts. That's exactly how I felt, and like it really started to call back to episode 1, when Fudge and I started the Semi Awesome podcast. I was so like, if this has my name on it, it has to be of this standard.
Absolutely.
Because
absolutely,
I had spent my high school and college years putting it out.
Yep.
So it's like, we know Joel can do this. We know Joel's a creative guy.
Yep.
It's like, when do you want to become that creative guy that turns the head?
Right.
All right, creative person.
Yep.
No, but it's like, once we started doing this podcast, like, to a detriment to, honestly, because like I'm sure I made that podcast unfun for him at times, because I was so meticulous about audio and editing and stuff. I wouldn't let him edit it, that type of thing.
Yep.
Because we have very different editing styles, and it purely comes from the fact that I have a semi-formal education.
Yep.
He learned Audacity on YouTube. It sounds great for his show.
Yep.
If I were to start playing you a clip, you'd be like, that's a well-recorded show.
Yep.
He does whatever to his voice to make it buttery late-night radio, right?
Right.
And I'm impressed by it every single time I listen to it. If I watch him record it, my skin crawls.
Sure. Completely understandable.
And that's a big conversation I had with Bevan one night, was that just shut up and do it.
Yeah, dude.
Don't get hung up. Oh, I don't have this AKG mic. Yeah. Oh, I don't have the Sennheisers. Oh, I don't have this. I don't have that. Shut up and put a microphone in front of whatever you need to do and see what happens. And like that came, like, Bevan was telling me about some project where he stuck a guitar mic or guitar amp in the bathroom and mic'd, I think, the other end of the bathroom.
Right.
And it's just like, we have bathrooms where Neil Young has a cave under his studio.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, my gosh.
And it's like, you can get it done, and that's what I've realized. That's why, I'm not carrying it right now, but usually I have a Samsung Galaxy 8 on me. I use the 9, but for some reason the camera on the 8's better than the 9. So if I carry that 8 with me, I have a 4K camera in my pocket. And because I'm... not right now, because I sweat it off. I've learned to live with a mic taped to my chest.
That's awesome.
So I'm always running audio.
Yep.
Shout out to Zoom recorders, my H1 from 10 years ago.
Oh my God. I saw that.
Yeah. 1 double A in that old workhorse. Yesterday I recorded 2 hours of audio. Straight. Just constant all day. It was like 6 gigs. Thank God I had a big card in there. But I didn't even go down 1 tick in the battery. I used it all day before I came here, not
insane.
1 tick down. Like, if you're vlogging or anything like that, camera top mics are very handy, but do a lav. It'll always sound better.
Totally. 100%.
To be a jerk about it, camera top mics are so 2010.
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
It's all about laughs.
Did you just join YouTube?
Gosh. Are you even a YouTuber?
Yeah, are you even a YouTuber? Like, what's your AdSense dollars at? Like, come on.
How many subs do you have? Like, who's this guy? Come on.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I have 9 subs, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Those are some big numbers.
Yeah. Well, it helps
deal.
when all 9 members of the royal family follow me.
That's pretty.
I ain't about
pretty crazy.
I'm about quality over quantity.
Yeah. Well, I think that that makes sense.
This is the most ridiculous, facetious conversation.
Of course, it's all good. What I appreciate about what you just described is that you've made the thing that you are doing and want to do more of part of your daily life in as seamless a way as possible, right? I don't know if this has been your experience, but for me, when I got into doing the video thing, or when I made myself just buckle down and get to it, the thing that I found the hardest was finding time in my routine to, film, to set up, to account for extra time for editing, all that kind of stuff, rendering,
when you sleep.
When you sleep. That's the only answer, right?
Or use Adobe Media Encoder, and then you can render as you work.
Media encoder.
You should have
as you work.
Did you see how wide his eyes got? Render while you work, my friend. 10 times faster.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I have media encoder. I've got the Adobe ecosystem, as it were.
Yeah.
I never thought to do that. No clue.
When you go to, do you know all about all that? In the export screen, hit Q instead of export, and it'll open up Media Encoder, and you can render it in there. You can straight up close Premiere if you want.
Wow, dude. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Amazing. Okay.
Yeah. I spent 2 solid weeks because I was like, okay, I know the fundamental steps to my workflow.
Yep.
How can we cut steps out? And so I spent literally just weeks researching how to edit faster.
Absolutely.
And that was one of the big things.
Yep.
Is edit while you work with Encoder.
That's amazing. That's good to know.
Pro tip
Thank you.
for everybody.
Pro tip.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. I believe it's honestly like an extension of the After Effects side of things.
Okay.
Because After Effects is so powerful, right?
Yes.
And nobody really knows entirely how to run After Effects. I'm
Absolutely.
firmly, because I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you knew this, but Blue's Clues, the TV show, back in the day, was made on Adobe After Effects.
Oh, awesome.
Adobe didn't know it could do that. Adobe calls the animators at Blue's Clues, hires them, they develop character animator.
Wow.
Which is a program I use every single day.
Okay.
For 2D animation.
Yep.
So character animator is just reskinned, sectioned off parts of After Effects that has been expanded to make animation funnier and easier. Yeah, so it's
incredible.
With Encoder, I think it's a section of that because I didn't know about this trick until the fateful day I saw the video on YouTube.
Right.
But it's like if you open up Encoder with After Effects, it literally looks the same from the bottom of After Effects.
Got it. Yep.
So like I don't know my Adobe history or anything like that. I don't know if Media Encoder is new, but it's the best thing for workflow. The best thing. I do all my proxies through it, like with 4K.
Yep.
I have a 4K vlog. I edit everything in 720. Export it at 4K.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you can build proxies for everything. It'll shrink the files, and then you just edit with the proxy files.
Yep.
And then when you export it, it loads the high-res footage in with all your edits and stuff.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Man, thank you.
Editing pro
Thank
tips.
you. Pro tips.
From me.
Dude, that is awesome and good to know.
All right.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. So I feel like I've got a ton more notes.
I'm down for parts 3 and 4
I was going to
later
say,
on.
it's got to be, we got to do a part 3 and a part 4. I'm just repeating what you just said.
Hey, we have been here for like 6 hours now.
Oh my gosh,
Coming
I
up.
know, man. I think one thing that there are 2 little things that I'd like to touch on before we wrap this episode up.
Okay.
One of them ties into kind of what we were just talking about. In terms of art and creativity, we conversed, for example, at Jeffrey's about, the creative professional life, trying to make it and, making sure that you, sort of name it and deem yourself worthy to do the thing, right? In terms of creativity, what keeps you going?
There is no level of theatricality when I say this, if I stop, I'll die.
Got it.
I battle with my mental health so much. Being creative is literally the only release valve I've ever known.
Gotcha.
That's why I've made the decision to not have a regular job anymore. That's why I've cut that part of the risk scale off of myself. Because if I stop, I'll die. And I became gravely, in real world terms, aware of that this year. And so when you kind of stare into the darkness that has an employee name badge on it, you kind of realize what you have to do.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I not to say like I'm, regardless of what I do, like we said, I view myself as a storyteller and a writer first.
Yep.
Being a writer, you are susceptible to those blocks.
Of course.
I haven't sat and typed for 4 months probably.
Wow. Okay.
But it's not because I don't have anything to say.
Yep.
It goes back to holding on to things to have it up to my standard before it puts out. The reason I don't want to just put stories out is because I'm thinking more about things.
Of course.
And so like I've gotten to the space where regardless of whether I want to or not, it's not like I wake up in the morning, I'm going to create something
Of course.
today.
Exactly.
I'm going to make a film.
That's right.
I don't wake up like that. I don't wake up,
Totally.
oh, I'm going to write about this, this, and this, and this.
Yep.
There are people who can.
Yes.
Like, Godspeed. But, like, on the other point, I also live my life by, I think it's by E.B. White or some old school writer like that. Could be Tennessee Williams, I don't know. They've been quoted as saying, inspiration is for amateurs. The rest of us just sit down and do the work.
100%.
I try to live like that too, but I also don't force myself to create stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get into this like ideation when you try to create stuff.
Yep.
And if it's just like, I'm going to create the film.
Exactly.
You will fail every single time.
Yep.
But if you have this idea, like one of the many things I have going on is actually it's a mockumentary. Easiest way to put it.
Yep.
A mockumentary about a puppet, actually. So it's, while being something that'll be on the back burner for a while, because I need, I've written 8 episodes, so I guess I'm a damn liar when I say I haven't written anything in a while. But I've written 8 episodes, planned it out, budgeted it, all that, and now I just know the next time I have roughly $1,000 to just throw into a project, I can get 8 episodes of this show out. So
Fantastic.
It's on to the, not even in the back burner, it's been put in the freezer for later.
Right. I got you.
Yeah.
It's in the pipeline. Right?
Yeah. And so where I don't wake up going, I'm going to do this, I also do what you do. I look at my stack of unfinished.
Yes.
And I go, I'm finishing this.
Yeah.
And to get into a shameless plug for a moment, glad you
Please
bring this
do.
up because it's the 21st. By this time next month, I hope to be selling pre-orders of my short story collection.
Oh, great.
Which is why
Awesome.
I
Yep.
haven't been writing a whole lot, because I'm not doing the blog because I'm focusing on making these 6 stories as good as possible, because I'm
Got
going to
it.
charge people money for them.
Yep.
And so I'm so excited to do that. And like, it's one of those great things where I have one friend who's just so great with editing. She she was a psych major, so she just knows how to write papers and how to write things for max conciseness. So having her comb through a literary thing
Right.
is super exciting for her
Yep.
and super fruitful for me,
Yep.
because she'll straight up say like, you need to build more emotion into this to get this to hit.
Yep.
And like, that's exactly what every writer needs.
Got
The
it.
reason Tom Waits doesn't have a good album, he only has good songs, is because he produces his own albums. Firm believer in that. You need a producer, you need an editor, you need somebody to rein yourself in, because creative people can't be trusted.
100%. I mean, that's why those roles exist as they do.
Yeah.
I mean, you write a manuscript, you send it to your trusted editor
Yep.
or, someone like that. They send back some suggestions. You do a second draft, a third, fourth, until, you're happy with it until the thing that you had is like, a polished diamond or whatever, right? Like however you want to put it. But it's important to have that back and forth.
Yeah.
I chuckle because I'm the worst for that kind of
Oh,
thing.
really?
Because I just love to like hold on to it. Like I can do all of this.
Yeah.
I can do everything.
Yeah.
That's not always the case.
And it's
Cool.
like,
Yeah.
I very excited to be doing that because not only
Good.
is my friend editing it, Bevan Booth, who's turned out to be one of the best photographers I've ever laid.
What a
my
guy,
eye.
right? What a guy.
That's Bevan Booth for you.
That's Bevan
I'm
Booth
going to
for
try
you.
this out. Oh my God, you're really good at that.
That's right.
That's Bevan.
Go figure. Yep.
Oh, that's how I feel about
This
when
whole
he's good
thing-
at new things. It's just
Yeah.
like, oh, another one? Cool. Leave some talent for the rest of
What
us,
can't
Bevan.
you do? Yeah. Absolutely.
And so he took this one photo that hit me because it literally, it's the visualization of the emotions I'm trying to capture in this book. And like, it's, this way I call it is it's kind of like a science fiction thriller collection. In this photo he took, it's all grainy and moody and stuff. So I messaged him almost instantly because I was like, if anybody had an idea like this, I need to be the first.
Absolutely.
So I email him and I'm like, Bevan, this is my project. Would you like could I please publish your photo in super high glossy image wrap around a hardcover book?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my God, yeah. But it's weird because like we're also at this age where it's like we're all doing creative work.
Yeah.
I don't know how to approach my friends to collaborate anymore.
Sure. Yep.
Because it's like the first thing with Bevan, I was like, how much do you want for your photo?
Yeah.
Because like the last thing I'm going to do is disrespect one of my friends and expect
Sure.
to get their work for free, right?
Right.
Luckily, we're buds, and for a cheeseburger or a steak sandwich, I've yet to take them for dinner, but
Absolutely.
for the price of a dinner, I get. Kind of like
Beautiful.
for the price of a dinner, I'm on a podcast tonight.
Yep.
Things like that.
Damn.
So that's why half of the reason I'm so stoked, because it's kind of the culmination of my work that I've put everything into, but accents provided by people I really care about and want to see succeed as well.
Got it.
And like, I have plans, man. Like on the note about like, I think I could do public speaking, no problem. My goal, like the filmmaking goals have like, they're tempting at this, but I got to leave it out of there because what lives in my mind is a one-man show,
Got it.
but with a live score provided by Origami Army.
Cool.
And so it's just like, that is so doable.
Yeah.
I just got to write the goddamn
100%. Yeah.
And so it's like, that's one of my dreams. And like, I've put that on like the vision board, 5-year plan.
For sure. Yep.
And it's just like, I live in this space in my head of like, oh my God, what happened in my life that aligned me with all of these great creative people?
Right.
And also given me the ability to work with these people.
Right.
And so I'm just like, I need to get as successful as possible. I need to have these people. And like, I really get like, because there's this YouTuber I like that blew up a while ago. And in one of his phrases, like, there's this guy that was always in his videos. And then suddenly in one video, there's an offhanded mention that he works for him now.
Okay.
And for some reason that felt dirty to me. I don't want my friends to work for me.
I got you.
But I want to give friends money for their creative pursuits.
Right.
If I was a rich guy, Al would play a house concert at my house every night.
I got you.
Because I want Al to have an
man.
income.
Yep.
And so it's just, I want Bevan to live off his work. I want Al to live off his work. I want you to live off your work. And then it's just like, oh shit, I got to worry about making money for myself.
Absolutely.
But these are what I want to do. And
Definitely.
like, it goes beyond the tangible digital arts, I guess, because my little sister is a painter,
Right.
and she's a tattoo artist. And it's just like my true, like 5-7 year plan is to get to the point where I can have an office, but have a separate room that I can get certified. So my little sister has a go-to tattoo spot.
Gotcha.
Because she is a huge inspiration to me. She left civilization. She lives in a van down by the river. She lives in a permanent mobile community in on the island somewhere in BC.
Right.
And it's just like she don't need a lot of money.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, she'll go to Calgary, she'll go to Lethbridge, she'll go to Grande Prairie, 2 weeks of tattooing.
Right.
All day, every day. Pockets bulging with money. Flies back to BC, lives in a van down by the river until she does it again. Yep. But the thing is, she's reliant on these openings at these other shops.
Yep.
So it's like, it's in my mind that, like, let's just solve that problem for her. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I'm all about, I just want everybody I love to succeed. Yeah. And if I can help in any way, I want to. Yeah. Between, like, not only do I want my sister to have, like, her own little studio in my studio, I want her to paint the wall out back. Yeah. It's just like, here's a reason to give my friend some money.
For sure.
Here's a reason to give some friends some money. And it's just like, I want to be successful enough that I can make it rain on my friends and reap the rewards of their hard work.
Got it. Well, so that's a beautiful sentiment, and, you know, I can only imagine that all of the pals you've mentioned throw right back at you too. You know what I mean? And
just to not steal your point, do you personally, knowing that and being in the same situation, is because I know I feel a sort of comfort knowing that, is it's just like, even in you mentioning what you did earlier today, is just like, oh, boom, there's a door open purely because he thinks like me.
Right.
Yeah, so it's hard not to think like that.
No, of course. You know, I think one thing that's wonderful about all of us, and I mean, I can only speak from my perspective, right? Like, from like my perspective in terms of moving back here and reconnecting with everyone at this point in not only all of our lives, but also our, you know, creative lives, right? Is that everyone sort of has complementary skill sets, complementary eyes, and complementary vibes and things to offer. You know, maybe, you know, 20 years ago, everyone was trying to be in the best band ever. Yeah. And then after a while, after maturing as artists or whatever, putting in a lot of time, everyone, I think we talked, this kind of touched, we touched on this at the beginning of this one or the end of the previous episode. I don't remember, but long while ago. Everyone has their thing, right? And I think we're all, for me, like, I feel grateful to, again, have reconnected at this point and notice what everyone brings to the table. Yeah. And to also, for me personally, realize I can't do everything. Collaboration is wonderful. Interconnectedness is great. And, you know, having a strong team, or having that kind of a working relationship with a group of people is like the best way to be. You know? Yeah. I need X thing done. I know I can take care of like 80% of this, and I have these amazing friends who can do this 5%, that 5%, and so forth and so on. And then the whole thing comes together. This is my project. And on another page, another friend is doing a thing. They might reach out to me or you or Darren, Lisa, somebody else, to fill in those few percents here and there, you know, and that's their project. So, I mean, we have just tons of different stuff going on, you know, and we can all feed into each other's, I don't know, creative workflow. Yeah.
Well, and it's like you say, it's just like being able to farm out your work to people you know. Yep. Because and also not to say these circles aren't highly beneficial for the people who aren't in the arts around us, because like, think of how many people you've helped out with certain projects just because they know you do this stuff. That's a sign it's getting late. When I'm mid-sentence and it just... I almost have whiplash from how fast I almost left.
I know, man. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to end with that point.
Okay. The last note that I had for tonight that I want to end on is kind of looping back to some of the things that we've joked around about this evening and the last couple of times we've hung out, is this parallel lives business. You know, this whole thing. It's funny to chat about it like that, and also I think the more I think about it, for me, the benefit or the lesson or the underlying beauty in it is, you know, like me living at home with my parents. I'm just saying, you know, Now you guys know. Now you know. There's no glamour. This is what it is, okay?
Hate to blow up your spot, bro.
That's what's happening. The thing about that is I had to open myself up in a way so as to accept help.
Yeah.
That's a tough thing to do sometimes, whether it's age, whether it's what you do, whether it's a situation or something like that. But I think, I don't know if there is a thought or if there is a sound bite you want to throw in with that, but I think for me, it's, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it doesn't look like what people think it will look like.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
never does. For whether it's moving on, whether it's creating, whether it's being happy or unhappy or whatever. But help. I mean, we should all accept help.
Okay, so let me tell you my little help story.
Do it.
Sorry, it won't be a sound bite,
No
more
worries.
of a sound entree.
Sounds good.
I'll try to keep it to a sound happy. Accepting help has been have you ever seen the movie The Pursuit of Happiness?
Yeah.
Will Smith?
Yeah.
So I often have that narration running through my head when he says things like, "This is the part of my life I call running," and things like that. So
Yep.
I have these titles in my head. There's Will Smith announcing them. Hey guys.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where if that narration were to define my last 2 years, Will Smith would say, "This part of my life I call learning to accept." Because in the past, so before the divorce, I lost my job at Edmonton.
Okay.
I lost it because I stood up for myself. I had some bosses taking advantage of me pretty heavily.
Got it.
And, in production-based environments, there's no consideration of the human cost, right?
Yep.
So what was happening was stood up for myself, literally got fired. The government was cool about it. That's one thing I really got to say about the government of Canada is you can apply for EI online and get a black and white. Yes, you qualify. No, you don't qualify. But mine went into this status for a while. And ended up, somebody talked to me. I explained the situation, and they're like, "Oh, those people aren't allowed to do that." And they actually told me this.
Okay.
I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, this is the way it actually happened." And so they're like, "Okay, well, you've been approved. I have a phone call to make." And so, the human touch took care of me in that sense. But just that first line I had to cross is of going on EI.
Right.
Because unfortunately, one of the most stigmatized things in our world, I'm not sure about the other side of the world, but in North America, you can't do any worse than being on a government-assisted program.
Right.
You're trash.
Yeah.
You're a garbage human being for taking off. You're a garbage human for taking what's there for you in
That's
these
the
times.
thing. Yeah. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
That's why it was created.
I paid for this. This
That's
is
just it.
my money.
That's the thing. You pay into it.
Yeah. So that was step one.
Yep.
Step two was when the then wife lost her job, and there was no jobs to be had.
Got it.
I could go into detail and tell you the most humiliating experiences of my life job hunting in that time. Literally the most demoralizing thing, and I cannot believe professional people conducted themselves this way. But that's for another time. Couldn't find work. Old lady loses a job. We have to move.
Yeah.
So the next threshold of accepting help is moving in with not your parents, but your wife's parents.
Got it.
So that was actually a way harder pill for me to swallow than living
Sure.
with my parents.
Yep.
Because I don't know these people too well.
Yeah.
We got married in Edmonton. We lived in Edmonton. They live here.
Got it.
So that's the whole reason I'm even back in this city, was we lost our jobs.
Okay.
Disaster with a silver lining one. And then 9 months after living here, the marriage fell apart.
Got it.
Disaster with a silver lining, too.
Yep.
Because I needed to learn to take help from my mom.
Right.
Hey, can I disrupt your entire life and move in with you?
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're my son. Get the fuck over
Right?
there. Yeah.
Yep.
Was that 3 or 4? 2. Oh, jeez, way
That's
ahead
a
of
silver
myself.
lining too.
Okay. So I wouldn't call that a disaster,
Yep.
but sucky thing with a silver lining too. Because I ended up, for the mental health problems, straight up problems that I was having, there was no safer place for me to be.
Right.
Very good. Living with my mom earlier this year saved my life. But because all that was happening and I was in this safe zone to experience these things, I needed to go to the 3rd tier and accept professional help,
Right.
which was the hardest tier. That's why it's level 3. And level 4 was medication. Because I had vehemently opposed medication my entire life.
Sure. Yep.
Out of ignorance.
Yep.
I'm in a very blessed situation where my doctor had seen my mom for years before. He treated my big sister, and the 3 of us are genetically identical.
Got it.
So those 2 women did all the heavy lifting as far as finding the antidepressant that will work for me.
Got it.
So I didn't have to go through
Yep.
any of that medication hell that a lot of people
Yep.
go through.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of them lose their battle during that time.
Yeah.
But it's didn't go that way for me. So disaster with the silver lining 4, and that one was a disaster because to get me to that point was intense. That was the last disaster.
Got it.
Everything's been good since then, and
Got
it's
it.
not like I take magical pills and I'm good every day. Like I was. Oh, bro. 4 days ago, maybe. Oh, you should have seen me. I was, a mess.
Yep.
I couldn't. When people like Tyler Fudge, he doesn't have any experience with this stuff. He doesn't experience in himself.
Got
He
it.
doesn't have people around him that experience this stuff. So when I talk about it and I'm open about it, he, which I feel like is a small win for me, he feels very comfortable asking me questions.
Yep.
And questions that an average person would be very scared asking
Got it.
of the depressed or suicidal. And he's like, what's that like? What is crippling depression like? Like, I just don't understand it. And like he speaks with that tone of like,
Yeah.
why don't you just get out
Yeah,
of bed? And so it's like, well, Budge, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it's just, there's literally no comparison. It's like you've been robbed of everything. I compare it to having my personality stolen. I'm a different person when I'm depressed.
Got it.
And a lot of things in the past have really gotten me. I remember one time, actually, Fred's denizen Carl Kraus
Yes.
tried to play in a band with him and Al at one point.
Okay.
It did not work because I was smoking way too much weed at that time.
Okay.
And in that time, I had a very serious problem with weed where it was playing with my brain. Luckily, I managed to. I quit for about a year and it cured me of all that.
Yeah.
So I'm back to the point where I can smoke without adverse effects.
Yep.
But in that time period, it was just. Oh shit! Where was I going? What was I saying right before that?
Tyler Fudge asked you.
Yeah,
Yep.
how it was, and it's like, yeah, you're literally your personality gets stolen. The reason I brought up Al and Carl is because there was one time where they had ordered pizza. They wanted me to go over and finish watching this Foo Fighters movie with them,
Yep.
and then we were going to jam. Great night.
Sounds
Pizza,
great.
Foo Fighters, and
Absolutely.
jamming? Are you kidding me?
Sounds-
I'm in.
yeah.
I showed up without my personality, and they were visibly put off by it. Carl was uncomfortable because I don't know.
Sure.
But Al, straight up, what is happening?
Yeah.
What's going on? Buddy, talk to me. And I had nothing.
Yeah,
Don't know.
for sure.
At that period, it was more than likely caused by, like, if I were to smoke weed early in the morning, my personality would dissolve.
Gotcha.
And I'd be nobody all day long.
Yep.
Yeah. Whereas, like, now it's just, like, functions like coffee in the morning.
Yep. Yep.
Try not to do it though when you gotta drive places.
Of course. I hear you, man.
But yeah, no. So that's my that was my
Yeah.
entree answer, because I've had to accept multiple levels of health help that in any other period of my life, and like it did. Whenever you go down a level, it cuts into you.
Yeah,
it cuts
certainly.
deep, and it cuts deeper every time you go a little deeper. But the one thing about taking help is like, it's not like it doesn't cut.
Yeah.
It's too late for good analogies. I was trying to come up with something that
It's all
cuts
good,
without
man.
pain.
No
But
worries.
no, it's like
Yeah.
you still get cut,
Yep.
but you don't really feel it.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. It's gotten so easy for me to take help now,
Good.
where like I can't even believe the difference between me now and me a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
That guy a year and a half ago, cannot reason with him, that guy.
Right.
There's nothing you can do to reach him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to take a journey that's going to take him all the way down.
Right.
And then he's going to find a secret pathway and feel like he's circumvented the whole system, because now he feels pretty damn good. And that's weird. I deal with guilt from how good I feel some days, because like I write about depression, and
Yep.
I talk about
Yep.
like wanting to put myself out there
Yep.
as like this person who lives with depression.
Yep.
But I'm so scared nobody's going to believe me because of my days like this.
Of course.
But like I've been diagnosed bipolar disorder, and these swings
Yep.
are textbook.
Got it.
And so it's just like I need to learn more about my specific disorder so I can talk more about it,
Yep.
which is not a bad thing,
No, absolutely.
because like I know very little about BPD, but I have, once they started telling me about it, it's like, oh, so that's the invisible hand guiding my life for
Got
30
it.
years.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That's amazing.
yeah, that's, what was the question?
We were talking about accepting help.
Yeah, that, okay.
This is a
And that
good
was my answer.
There you go, man.
Yeah, final
well,
answer.
thank you for all of your time.
Hey, buddy, we should start our own podcast.
Oh my gosh, we should definitely do this again, and maybe
Absolutely.
another time.
Yeah.
I feel like there's great value in just your point of view, but also just what you described. Like the process of figuring stuff out. It's great to talk with you in such an open way about all this stuff, because it's super important. And so thanks, man. I appreciate the heck out of you. And
I appreciate you having me. It's not, it's nice to be invited somewhere to talk,
Got
because
it.
like we've covered, I'm the guy who's just like, here's my platform, listen to me talking. Here's my platform, listen to me talking.
sure.
And so it's just nice to be asked questions to have.
Perfect. Well,
If you could call this having been kept on track.
as much as can be. I don't know if that's necessary.
Whatever.
It's whatever. It's all
was-
good, is what it is.
If it is half as fun to listen to as it was to do, we got good episodes.
We got good episodes. You won't know unless you smash that bell and hit subscribe
So,
and like and share.
Bells. Tweet. Facebook.
Share.
Actually, don't Facebook. If you share a YouTube link on Facebook, they bury it because they're competitors.
Which is insane, right? Which is why I release on one and then I release on another. Then I try to share
I spend double time uploading. I do 2 uploads, and then I'm pissed at the way Facebook smooshed my videos.
100%.
Facebook, fix
what
your
it is.
shit. Also,
Zuck,
we just got to move out
Mark,
of Grande Prairie
come
where
on.
we don't have to use Facebook.
Exactly. More on that next time.
Absolutely.
There you go. Thank you. Good night.